So we talked about how music is written on a staff, and a staff is just these series of lines, 5 lines, and you count them going from the bottom to the top, just like you climb a ladder. So this is the first line or line 1, second line or line 2, third line or line 3, fourth line or line 4, fifth line or line 5. And we talked about how when I say on the line, that means the line is going through it or behind it. If you imagine that you drew these 5 lines on the ground and you were holding the note in your hand, and I wanted you to put the note on the first line, you would put it on the line like the line was going through it or behind it. It does not mean like this where it looks like it's resting or sitting on the line. Also, we talked about how the shape of the note doesn't matter, whether it has stems or flags or whether it's together. It's the head, the circle part of the note that matters. So you can see this first one is hollow and you can see the note going through it or behind it. Now this one is filled in, so you can't exactly see the note going through or the line going through or behind it, but you can see that it does that if you were to put it there. This note has the flags, but it doesn't matter. It's the head of the note. And even these two notes that are attached together, these are two separate notes. There's two heads, so these are two different notes. This is on the fourth line, this one's on the third line. And we talked about how you can use your hand as a cheat sheet. If you turn your hand so your palm is facing you and your pinky is parallel with the ground, well, your pinky is line 1, your ring finger is line 2, your middle finger is line 3, your index finger is line 4, and your thumb is line 5. Then in the next video, we talked about how, um, move this all the way over, the spaces in between. So, and it works the same way. You count them from the bottom to the top. So this is the first space, the second space, the third space, the fourth space. And to know the way you know it's a space is that there's no line going through the note, and that you can use your hand for the same reason, same thing. Between your pinky and ring would be the first space, between your ring and middle would be the second space, between your middle and index would be the third space, and between your index and your thumb would be the fourth space. Then we did some practice ones, and I kind of filled it in for you already. Whoops, let me move that back over so that you can see it's already there. But if we were practicing this, this is on the first line, the second line, the third line, the fourth line, the fifth line, and I already have that written in here for you. And then below, first space, second space, third space, fourth space, and I already have that written in for you just as a frame of reference. So where are these notes at? Let me pull up the text. And if I look at this, there's several ways you can do this. Well, this is on the bottom line, it's the first line, or you can use your hand, or you can look right at the top of the page and know that this is the first line. Now this next note does not have a line going through it, so we know it's a space. And I can do it a couple ways. I can just count the spaces, 1, 2, 3, 4. I can use my hand. I can even count the lines and go 1, 2, 3, fourth line. So right above it is the fourth space. So let me do fourth space. And same thing for the next one. This is the first space, or I know this is the first line. So I know right above the first line is the first space. The next one is the first space, second space, third space. I can use my hand, or I can count first line, second line, third line. So that's the third space. So third space. And then the line right in the middle has a line going through it. 1, 2, 3. So this is the third line. And you can also count backwards. This is the fifth line, the fourth line, the third line. Next one is a space, and I can do it several ways. I can check up here. I can also check right here. I can count it. I can count first line, and then it's the first space. Next one has a line going through it, so I know it's going to be on the line. So I say it's on the 1, 2, 3, fourth line. Fourth line. The next one, I can do it, 1, 2, there's a line going through it, second line. And I can even do it, if I know this is the fourth line and I count backwards, third line, second line, and I can confirm that right here. And I don't see anywhere else that we've done a second line one yet. So just there we'll be able to confirm it. So second line. And the last one on this page, there's no line going through it, so it's on a space. And I can count 1, 2, 3. So third space, third space. And we can do it the opposite way. So I have on this page over here, I already have the reference up top, but it doesn't have the notes filled in, but it tells me where it wants the notes. And even if I misplace it, I can just put the note where it goes. But this one wants the second line, so I have to make sure the line is going through it. And there's first, second line. And this wants the fourth space. So I'm going to go with the spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4. Second space. So we'll go with the spaces, make sure there's no line going through it. This is the first space at the bottom. Second space. Fourth space, well, I can check here, I can check here. I can count again, I can use my fingers. However you want to do it. It's not school, not being graded. And for this one, same thing. If this is the fourth space, I know the lines come before spaces. So if I wanted to count the lines, 1, 2, 3, 4, fourth line. Or even if I wanted to count the spaces, 1, 2, 3, fourth space, but right before it is the fourth line. Second space, so I'm going to count the spaces from the bottom. 1, 2, fifth line. So we know there's only 5 lines. I can go right to the top and just place my note there. Third line, we know that's the middle one. So I know the line has to go through it. There we go. And the last one, fourth space. Same thing with all the other ones. You can double check it, fourth space, fourth space. You can just count from the bottom, or you can count to the fourth line and go right to the top to the fourth space.